Good evening and welcome to the Islamic House of Wisdom nightly Ramadan program. We are going to start with recitation of the Holy Quran with Mahdi Shi'ite بعد الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Ahsant. That's wonderful. Again, good evening and welcome to the Islamic House of Wisdom nightly Ramadan program. This is the fourth night, and I just want to remind you that at noon every day, the meal distribution at Islamic House of Wisdom for those who really would like to get some food for them and their neighbors, their families, and they could pick up the food at 12 p.m. Before Ramadan, we used to do it at 11, but now we do it at 12 p.m. At 2 p.m., Holy Quran at Recitation, and you can follow that on Facebook. From 6 to 7, Thursday to Sunday, Youth of Wisdom Zoom interaction program. At 9:30, the nightly program begins with Dua al-Iftitah, and at 10 p.m., the program as we're doing right now. And we're going to continue with reflection on faith with Imam Elahi بعد الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Thank you, Said Khalil. Thank you, Mahdi, for recitation. And I would start with saying Assalamu alaikum to our guests, Brother Khodr and Hajjah and everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the prayer of the fourth day of the holy month of Ramadan. Allahumma qawwini fi على إقامة أمرك وأذقني فيه حلاوة ذكرك وأوزعني فيه لأداء شكرك واحفظني فيه بحفظك وسترك يا أبصر الناظرين. Oh Allah, please energize us to do our divine duties and enjoy the sweetness of your presence. Make us, O Lord, grateful of your generosity and protect us. You are the most visionary observer. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين. As you remember, said Khalil, and our audience in Michigan and all over the world, We are talking about the titles of this holy month of Ramadan. One of the best titles for this time, for this season of Siyam, is the title of Taqwa. So the holy month of Ramadan is the month of At-Taqwa wa Taqarrub ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the previous nights, I mentioned some points about the concept of At-Taqwa. Because the Quran itself told us that the purpose of our prayer and our fasting during this holy month of Ramadan, Kutiba alaykum as-siyam, he made Siyam, fasting, an obligation. The wisdom behind it, the philosophy of fasting, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So you accomplish at-taqwa. When we go through so many verses in the Quran about the meaning of this word, at-taqwa, we realize that Allah is telling us, at-taqwa miftahu kull khair, miftahu al-falah, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. The key for salvation, at-taqwa. مفتاح الرحمة واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. To receive mercy, be muttaqi. مفتاح الشكر فاتقوا الله لعلكم تشكرون. To be grateful, you need to be muttaqi. مفتاح العلم واتقوا الله يعلمكم الله. To receive knowledge, wisdom, the key is at-taqwa. مفتاح البصيرة وإن تتقوا الله يجعل لكم فرقانا. When you practice piety, then you receive furqan, means a power of distinguish between right and wrong, halal and haram, good and evil. مفتاح النجاة ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا. You want to get out of this mess of chaos and confusion. The key to get a way out of mess is at-taqwa. مفتاح الرزق ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب. Looking for barakah and blessing in your life, the best path to al-rizq, the path of piety. مفتاح الجنة وأزلفت الجنة للمتقين. الجنة, the paradise, is a place of muttaqin. The key to heaven is piety. Then the Quran says, if you are looking for the best clothes for your soul, وَاللِّبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. If you are looking for the best mosque to pray, لَمَسْجِدٌ أُسِّسَ عَلَى التَّقْوَى. The best mosque is the mosque based on at-taqwa. And there are so many verses in the Quran that إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُتَّقِينَ. God loves the muttaqin. إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. God is with the pious. إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. He accepts the action and practice of people of piety. And the Quran itself, هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. When we talk about taqwa, one of the first verses in the Quran that comes to our mind is from chapter Hujurat, verse 13. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. There is no place for racism and hatred in the territory of taqwa. If you are a person of piety, you cannot be a racist. كلكم من آدم وآدم من تراب. So the holy month of Ramadan is a time of taqwa, time of transformation, time to realize that the most dignified, the most rewarded, the best of you in the sight of Allah is atqakum. It's not about your color. It's not about your race, your culture, your class, your prestige or money. It is about your soul. You remember when President was talking about coronavirus, and a while ago he said this was a Chinese virus. There was waves of racism in this country against the innocent Chinese people who have nothing to do. They are Americans, many of them born in this country, raised in this country, have nothing to do with this disease. But some races, they started saying, go home, and they use bad words. This is a disease of racism. A person of taqwa never does this. This is not a time of hatred when all of us are fighting the same war and the same enemy. This is the time of cooperation and communication. So we work together to flatten the curve of this virus. It is time of friendship and not time of fear-mongering and hatred. So when we are talking about taqwa, we are talking about transformation in our soul. We are talking about internal transformation. We are talking about a spiritual discipline, internal discipline, the power of piety that acts like a spiritual police inside our soul. Somebody asked the Holy Prophet, Ya Rasulallah, Aina qa'idatu taqwa? Tell me, where is taqwa? Show me. I want to check if I have taqwa or not. Where is it? فأشار صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إلى صدره وقالها هنا. The Prophet pointed to his chest and he said, here. That means the center of piety is your heart. Your soul, the center of piety is the center of your soul. For this reason, there is a beautiful word from Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam, صيام القلب عن الفكر في الآثام أفضل من صيام البطن عن الطعام. Imam Ali is saying that it is better to fast from sins. If your soul is fasting from sins, this is higher and higher than just your stomach fasting from ta'am, from food. Of course, we fast from food, from water, from smoking, from all of these mufattirat. But the most important, the most spiritual kind of fasting is the fast of our soul. When our eyes and our ears, al-fast الصيام القلبي, الصيام الروحي, الصيام الأخلاقي. That is the highest level of fasting. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, if you are looking for qa'idah to taqwa, the center of piety, look at your heart. You can check if there is love in your heart, then you have taqwa. If there is hatred, no taqwa. Look at your heart, check your soul, if there is blessing or cursing, if there is a wish for life for everyone or wishing for death and destruction. If there is light, there is taqwa. If there is darkness, is the absence of taqwa. If there is compassion, there is taqwa. If there is cruelty, there is no taqwa. So let me finish this spiritual reflection of tonight, the 4th day of Ramadan and the night of 5th. There is a conversation between Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari radiyallahu anhu and the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. قال صلى الله عليه وآله يا جابر هذا شهر رمضان. Jabir, do you know that this is the holy month of Ramadan? من صام نهاره وقام وردا من ليله وعف بطنه وفرجه وكف لسانه خرج من ذنوبه كخروجه من الشهر. Subhanallah. He's saying, oh Jabir, do you know that when a faithful is fasting during the day in this month of Ramadan and spend part of the night of Ramadan in prayer and worshiping and communicating with the Creator, and at the same time able to control his tongue and control his desires, overcoming his or her temptations during this testing time of Ramadan. If someone is able to do that, fasting during the day, spending some hours of prayer and dua, and at the same time able to practice modesty and domination over his desires or her desires, and able to control his tongue from saying sinful things. If someone able to practice this kind of fast, خرج من ذنوبه كخروجه من الشهر. At the end of holy month of Ramadan, this person is born again. Looks like a baby, just born, just came to this world. Absolutely innocent, perfect, and pure. فقال يا جابر فقال جابر يا رسول الله ما أحسن هذا الحديث. Jabir is saying, O Messenger of God, this is beautiful. Like he is saying that this is very simple. It is very easy that going through the month of Ramadan and be born again, that is a great news, wonderful. فقال صلى الله عليه وآله يا جابر وما أشد هذه الشروط. Yes, this is a beautiful, beautiful news, but the conditions are very, very serious. It's not easy to dominate your desires and your tongue and being a real person of piety. It needs your discipline, your determination, your devotion, your dedication, that you are absolutely willing to win this war against your desires during this holy month of Ramadan. So yes, Shahr Ramadan, Shahr Taqwa, and Taqwa is the key for knowledge, for salvation, for success, for everything in our life. And the center of our soul is the platform of Taqwa and this piety. And the best conclusion was the conclusion, the hadith from Amir al-Mu'mineen and the Holy Prophet, that they mentioned the conclusion, the achievement, the accomplishment, rebirth of a faithful fasting during holy month of Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala أن يجعلنا من المتقين لأنه يحب المتقين لأنه مع المتقين ويتقبل من المتقين فنسأله تعالى أن يجعلنا من المتقين آمين يا رب العالمين والسلام عليكم.
Thank you, Imam. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. We continued the Islamic House of Wisdom Nightly program, and I like to remind you that these are the best nights and a great time for you to show your support for the Islamic House of Wisdom and for the programs that now Islamic House of Wisdom is really embarked on, which is they're mainly humanitarian programs. In the meantime, I want to thank some of the donors that have helped us putting these programs together. I would like to thank Jihad Safa, Isra Jama'a, Dana Yunus, Hamzi Makki, Jay Qabani, Fatmi Karmali, and Reyers Rizvi, and Cheryl Anisman. I want to thank you so much. And if you like to support Islamic House of Wisdom, its programs, please click on the link on Facebook or give us a call. We'll be more than happy to work with you. And now we're going to continue with the other part of our program, and I'd like to welcome Khodr Farhat and Sister Sabah Beydoun. Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate your time, and happy Ramadan to both of you. We haven't talked to you since Ramadan began.
Thank you so much for having me, and Ramadan Kareem to you all, and thank you for all that you guys do. The Islamic House of Wisdom is an absolutely awesome institution in our community, and wish you guys nothing but continued success.
Thank you so much. Hajjah Sabah, good evening.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, brother?
Alaikum salam. Hajjah, how are you?
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, honored to be with you. So thank you for being with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being on our program.
Thank you.
Such a wonderful program.
The highlight of the program is youth and education. I would like to start with Khodr by just tell us a little bit about you, what you do, a little bit about your background. You're very inspirational to all of us.
Thank you. I appreciate your kindness. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Again, thank you so much for having me, and appreciate you guys. I hope that all of our listeners are having a wonderful Ramadan so far in the light of this very bad pandemic, that we are praying all together for the sake of healing and peace and love in the world. And we pray for all those who were affected, and we pray for the soul that we lost to this in America and over the world. My name is Khodr Farhat, and I was born in Beirut, Lebanon, back on June 8th of 1993. And having said that, I was pretty much Lebanon, as you know, is a third world country. And why I'm mentioning that, I'm so proud of it, certainly. But because I was born blind, Lebanon does not have the accommodations and the adequate resources like a lot of third world countries compared to Europe, Canada, and the United States. So for that reason, I went to a private school in Babarat, for Sayyid Hafidullah, may God bless his soul, because if it wasn't for him, I would have not gotten the education that I needed to go ahead and build my life. So I went to a private school for the blind, deaf, autistic, language disabled, speech disabled, and what have you. And I stayed there from like 1997 all the way to 2009, pretty much. That's the year where I immigrated with my family to America. We came to Detroit back on March 30th of 2009, looking for better opportunities and brighter future. And hopefully in between a treatment opportunity. And having said that, we came over here to Dearborn, and I'm honored to call it my home now. And I'm proud of the community that I belong to, and that you guys are a vibrant part of this community. So I appreciate you guys, and then I went to Lincoln Park High School, and then I went to Henry Ford College. I got my degree in special education. And then I went and I got my undergrad from University of Michigan in political science. And currently I work for a healthcare insurance company in their quality department. And beside that, I have been doing a lot of public speaking, a lot of advocacy, a lot of public policy work since 2012. So that's pretty much my other full-time job. So that's what I do. And this is only a brief, and then I'm more than happy to dive into more details later on.
Absolutely. I would like to ask Hajjah Sabah to join us as well and tell us a little bit about what she does. And she's very busy, very involved in the community as well.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Sabah, Beydoun. I'm more involved in Islamic House of Wisdom. We run a few classes there and programs. And mostly I work with the youth, we're trying to help the youth, better educate them in their own religion, help them with if they have any personal problems, be there for them, coach them. I also have other programs like Quran Tafsir. This is something I've been doing for more than 20 years. Alhamdulillah, for the older age, the adults classes, evening classes in English and morning classes in Arabic. And very involved. I've taught at private schools, also high school students. And now at Dar al-Hikmah, we have a very special program for high school students. We educate them in every way possible. We dive into the ethics of Islam, beliefs, religious rulings, and history. Alhamdulillah, we're trying to do our best.
Sure. How difficult is it to teach, people who, children or youth who really don't, Arabic is not their first language. No. And it must be really challenging.
Well, our program is in English because, like you said, their Arabic is not their first language. We leave that for Arabic school and Saturday school. The main focus in our program is that they understand their religion. If they want to, yes, Arabic is very important, but our main focus is religion. And if they comprehend it better in English, we give it to them in English.
Yeah. Allah ta'ala. May the Lord reward you. Khodr, you've been involved in the community for some time, and and your strength comes from your disability. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. Before that, I want to say thank you, Hajjah Sabah, for all that you do. And just want to also highlight Brother Mahdi Elahi. Yesterday I was listening to his lecture. Man, he's a tough lecturer, so I wish him the best of luck as well.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. To be honest with you, my strength, I stem my strength from my strong faith in God, my unshakable faith in God. I never asked why I was born blind, why me? And having said that, and having that strong faith planted deeply in my heart, that led me to recognize my disability, that I love to call it a challenge. And I made it from what so many people think about it as negative, as barriers, as destructive, as disruptive, as noisy, as whatever you want to name it, any negative term out there. I was able, alhamdulillah, to turn it into something very powerful and positive because, deeply in my heart, I felt like, okay, I've got this, and we can do it. And that's why I went to the university, and I pretty much, do what I do. I don't really look at myself as a blind person, to be honest with you, Brother Khalil.
Yeah.
I believe that every one of us has, a certain visible or an invisible disability, and I have to recognize. So the religious aspect of my life has played and still playing and will remain to play an instrumental role in all my accomplishments and what I do. And having said that, this really generated a lot of positive attitude. It did generate a lot of great inspiration to a lot of people that I'm so humbled and honored to say that I was able to change a lot of people's lives for the better. Because if they look at me and say, hey, this guy just immigrated here 10 or so years ago, he didn't speak a word of English, he didn't know anything, and pretty much just a couple of family members. And then he's blind also, and he had to fight for everything that he has now. Why I can't do it? Because I was born here, I was raised here. I have a lot of family. I don't have any physical disability or limitation. So I'm not saying that being blind is fun, by the way. I'm not saying that it is easy. I'm not saying that it is a piece of cake, not at all. Because Imam Ali said, you know, تعرف يعني نعمة الله عليك, you have, you know, امشي وغمض عينيك, right? You know, like if you have to know your God's best blessing, you know, that showered you with, just all you gotta do is close your eye for a minute. So it's not fun, but again, you have to recognize your weakness, work around it, and turn it into positive. And that's why I went to university. That's why I do what I do.
Absolutely.
So
And
God gave you basira, you know, that the vision, the wide vision that you have, that al-basira, that spiritual vision and spiritual eyes that you are blessed with, make all of us really wondering of rahmatullah, that how you manifest God's gift and manifest Allah's blessing to you and to all of us, because you, Brother Khodr, are a gift for us as a community. You are a blessing to the entire
Thank you. I appreciate it.
With your vision and with your intellect and so many qualities that you have. God bless you.
absolutely.
God bless you, Imam. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome,
I had a question.
I'd like to welcome Mahdi to Mahdi Elahi to the discussion.
Absolutely.
And as you said, I'd like to echo what you said earlier, which is the great you know, speech that he gave yesterday, and he shared with us. And we're not surprised. I mean, Mahdi comes from you know, a mountain of knowledge and you know, the family and you know, you know, so
You're kind, but it seems that brother Khodr is
have not only one good sheikh, except a whole good family. So welcome, Mahdi.
Please.
Mahdi, welcome.
Thank you. No, you guys are too kind. You know, it's interesting listening to you, Brother Khodr. You know, a lot of people in our community, although they may be able to physically see, they're mentally blind, and you have your vision is much more wider than many people who could actually physically see. My question is, what kept you going? What did you know? Because a lot of the times, people, they motivate themselves with something, but you yourself, what did you do to keep yourself motivated, to push yourself, to strive to get an education and to educate other people, even though you may have this disability? What kept you going? What made you to push forward to the next day?
Sure, absolutely, Brother Mahdi. Thank you for the question. So there are 3 different factors. So having said that, and having known that I was born and raised overseas in Lebanon, which has way less opportunities, and compared to that, I came over here to the States, which had a lot of opportunities. So I wanted to take an advantage of that. So let's just start from here. So that's number 1. Number 2, God had a mission. God said, okay, alhamdulillah, I was born blind. This means that there's a reason behind that. And that is not to see me doing anything, sitting at home or just locked up in my room and I don't work, I don't get out and stuff like that. So there's a mission that is, I like to continue on carrying on. That is, even if you have a challenge as tremendously hard as blindness, because again, it's not really easy at all, and you have to show everybody around you that you can still do it. So don't get me wrong, I don't do what I do just to prove people wrong, like, hey, look at me, you thought I'm not gonna make it and I made it. So that's not my intention by any means, but it's just God's strength, God's strength that, yes, even blind people and, even people in wheelchairs, even people without any arms or legs, they can still achieve big and reach high. And then the third thing is just a personal goal and a personal, aspiration is to become a worldwide public speaker. And I think I'm on the right track. It's taken me a minute because, alhamdulillah, inshallah, we're going to do it right. It's going to take me a minute, but I know by heart, with all humbleness, I'm going to get there. Hard work, building the right network, always dedicated. I compete against my own standard of excellence. I don't look at anybody, not because I don't want to look at anybody, not because I'm cocky, not because I'm the best, not because I'm better than X and Y, no, but because each person has a different lifestyle, has a different circumstances, different scenario, different barriers, different abilities, and different opportunities. So if you were to be born to an affluent family, for example, and then I born to a poor family, but both of us happen to be on the University of Michigan Ann Arbor campus, the difference is how we able to arrive to that campus. You arrive 99% because of your dad's money. I'm not talking about you, man. I'm talking about in general. Whereas, which this is what happened with me. I landed there because of my scholarship. So there's a difference right there. So not taking the credit away from the other person, but I can't say that they worked as hard as I did. So working hard, utilizing all the blessings, because let's not forget, again, religion has a big role in my life and everything I do. I will be questioned Yawm al-Qiyamah how I have used my money, my time, my resources, my abilities, my knowledge, and all that in between. Sorry if it's taking me a bit long, but I just want to make sure that, I'm touching all the points that I want to touch on.
Absolutely. I would like to ask Hajji Sabah, why do we need the faith classes and involvement for the youth?
We all know that the youth are our future generation, and they are the inheritors of the society. And educating them is very important, especially in the Islamic perspective, teaching them integrity, following the footsteps of our Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has told us, he states, focus your promotional activities on the youth people and the youth and young people, and concentrate your energies in guiding them as they accept the truth faster and incline towards good things sooner. So we see Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he encourages us to focus on the youth because they are more perceptive. They take things, they implement, they have more energy, they work in the community, they can do something, they can make a difference. We have another saying from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam where he says, because the hearts of the young people accept the truth sooner than those of the old people. So that's Imam Sadiq encouraging us. Even Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he would always encourage us, and he says, I advise you to be good or do good to the youth people, to the young people, as they have a tender heart that is keen to learn. So these are our future. These are the ones that are going to change in the community, and they are the ones that are going to contribute to prevail Islam, or as we say, to establish God's kingdom on earth. And like Brother Khodr said, if they use the three gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gave each and every one of us, and if we enable them, we help them to get stronger with these gifts and show them the way, guide them the way, which are the talents, the youth, and the resources that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave each and every one of us. So guiding them will help them establish a better community, a better society, inshallah. And this is our purpose.
Yeah. Give us some examples how we can instill faith principles, through what methods, activities in our youth.
So mostly when we have the classes, we are discussing different Islamic topics, and we divide the topics. The most important thing is to strengthen their faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when you strengthen their faith, no matter what comes their way in life, their way of life will be unchangeable. But if you just teach them Islamic matters without them having a strong faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the hereafter, justice, imamah, they will be shaken, they will be affected. because, you know, there's a lot of peer pressure nowadays. And so we do that, and then we teach them, we help them to understand like Islamic ethics through the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, stories of the prophets, of the Imams, many things to learn from. Our religion is so rich that when we talk about things that happened in history, they are very surprised, and they get very affected, yes, by that.
I one question that I had for Hajjah Sabah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Mahdi, how are you? Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak.
And
I was just wondering, you know, a lot of the times, since you're very experienced with dealing with the youth, sometimes you may come across, you know, a younger individual who may not have an interest to learn about their faith. Have you ever encountered such a situation? And if so, how were you able to cater that individual or kind of ignite an interest in their faith?
Good question, because it does happen often, you know. Our youth are so taken by materialistic life, by the media. They prefer being home and just, you know, on their Xboxes or whatever media they have, social media. It's kind of tough. So I've had parents that have told me, my kids don't want to come, they don't want to be involved. But what happens is I tell them, why don't you, you know, give them an incentive or ask them to just come once. Just come once. And when they do, our classes are, we have a lot of activities in classes, but of course Islamic activities, like they'd have to act as the story that, or the history scenario that we've talked about, or something on the TV, you know. And and I feel the most important thing to get their attention and to make them love coming to religious classes or Islamic classes or programs is to show them that we care and we love them and we're there for them, and we're not teachers. We're just, you know, we're more like their friends, because we got to gain that love from them. When they feel comfortable and that they're loved, they will love what they're doing and they will want to come again. And this is what we've experienced.
Yeah, Khodr, you're running for school board. Why is that important to you?
I want to echo to Hajjah Sabah what she was talking about, that the youth and our younger generation is our future. And without preparing a very strong and well-equipped generation, we can't trust a bright future. We can't expect a bright future. Having said that, after 8 years of involvement, advocacy, public speaking, and from a personal experience, if I did not receive the education that I have received, and if I'm not going to receive the education that I'm about to receive in my grad school, I cannot do, and I will not be able to do what I'll be doing. So from that standpoint, that's why I chose school board. Some people ask me, like, why didn't you choose city council, for example? Well, no, that's too much politics. I'm not saying that school board is not involved in politics, because everything is politics nowadays, to be frank with you. But school board is different. School board is about our kids. It's about our future. It's about equitable opportunities. It's about equal distribution of all the great stuff, all the values, all the equipments. I mean, everything, the knowledge, especially when it comes to individuals with disabilities. You know, I am running to represent, of course, all Dearborn, from the south, the north, east, west, you name it. You know, all the communities. But as a blind person myself, I will need to devote and put into place such an extensive efforts, because, you know, our administration is doing what they can do to be also fair. They are doing what they can do. But I think from a personal experience, because see, when you go to the university and get a degree in a certain study that you are not, like, let's say, like like a lot of my former teachers, they are not blind, but they have degrees from the best universities. And they used to tell me that. They used to tell me, man, you know, because you live it and you know how it feels like, you know what it takes to overcome X and Y barriers and challenges. You know more than anything else. Like, for example, I read Braille in Arabic and English for 23 years now. 23 years of my life. So I'm 26 now. So 23 out of my 26 years, I read Braille, Arabic, and English. Go get me any doctorate degree holder that has, graduated, that had graduated from, a disability related, program from Harvard. They can't compete. So I believe that with all humbleness, I bring something new to the board. I bring motivation, inspiration. I bring that, yes, our kids can do it, whether they are disabled or not. They can do it whether they are newcomers, that they don't speak one word of English or not. That, from a personal hardship, it's nothing like using what you have gone through and investing in your own life so you can benefit others. It's not like you are pretending to be someone that you can't be. I'm being myself. I'm running because of our parents. I know what my parents had suffered because they're blind, and they were a bit hesitant at some point. So I saw their struggle, I saw their frustration, and I know that there are a lot of parents out there who have kids that they don't speak English. They have a disability. They cannot communicate with their teachers. I'm running to help our students to get more programs for science, math, music, drama, acting, science, engineering, math, you name it. Our community has to be more involved. And I believe I have the charisma and the personality to bring all of that together. And alhamdulillah, I can say one thing, and Imam Elahi knows that because he was one of the very first people that knew about my candidacy and my desire to run. I worked with everybody, and I still do work with everybody. And having said that, I can, get around with everyone perfectly fine. And I think it's going to be great for our students and for our public schools, for our 23,000+ students, especially in this trying time. You need positive attitude. You need motivation. You need someone who understands what they go through. And you need someone who is doing it to do it because he or she loves it, not for the prestige, not for the class, not for the, hey, look at me, and not for the accolade that come with it.
Yeah.
And you are yourself, Brother Khodr, are a good example, really, with your achievements, with your accomplishment, and being where you are now. There is no excuse for anyone, young person in our community, to fail in education. I mean, you are coming from a very struggling background, very challenging. It's a long journey. And look at what you achieved. Look at your success. Alhamdulillah, of course, كل هذا من فضل ربي. This is grace of God and blessing of God. But of course, there should be a will to be a way. And it is sad that sometimes youth in our community take it for granted. I mean, they are already, many of them, born in this country and exposed to all of these possibilities, all of these opportunities. And when they fail to achieve what they're supposed to achieve, to be good in education, which is everything. Education is power, information is power.
Sure.
Science is power. And example of you of combining faith with knowledge, al-ilm wal-iman wal-amal. So I'm saying that you are a good model in a sense of you left no excuse for anyone, any young person, any boy or girl in our community not to appreciate education, not to appreciate discipline and working hard and be where you are to achieve what you achieve. And God bless you. That is a great.
Imam, thank God bless you. Just one thing, if you don't mind, Imam and Brother Khalil and Hajjah Sabah, just to mention, beside the involvement and this great and vicious and aggressive desire to serve and to make a difference, also I got the degrees, and I also made a big difference at the Henry Ford College campus and the University of Michigan campus. University of Michigan is a tremendous campus, a great campus, and I was able to find a lot of errors when it came to Braille signage and a lot of stuff regarding accessibility. And I do work on so many accessibility and even, you know, public policy issues, local in Dearborn, Wayne County, state of Michigan, and even in DC and New York. So alhamdulillah, as Imam said, it's all got with God's grace and kindness. You know, I'm able to compile the education component, plus the involvement, plus the will and love to serve, you know, with like unlimited desire to serve. I think it's going to be a great, and our community has been nothing but very supportive. I've been going around a lot before the quarantine, thankfully, and for 2 months, unfortunately, Elahi was out of town. He was attending a few conferences. I couldn't meet with him in person, but we spoke over the phone, you know, and alhamdulillah, not one priest, not one community official, public official, elected official, appointed official has not said anything but very supportive. So I'm running to serve. I'm not running on a political agenda whatsoever. I'm running to serve, and inshallah, I wish for nothing but the best for our community at the end.
Yeah. Sabah, I had a question for you in regards to how you approach a boy versus a girl. What is the difference in your approach when it comes to instilling faith? Is there a difference in approach because of the difference in maturity, or do you kind of approach both male and female the same way?
Because we have the high school students, yes, we see the females, there's a higher maturity level if they're in the same class, like the same age than the males. But and we do, well, it's not male versus female, it's more like individuals. Each person has a different personality, some are very active, some are quiet, some are smart, some it takes a long, you know, time to get something through them. So I don't call it female versus male, but yes, I have seen that females are a little bit more mature. We don't want to say and to get the message through them. Males get distracted faster, but then I have other males that are great and amazing. So I guess it's the individual himself or herself. I don't think
Sabah, you're causing a trouble for yourself now.
I don't dare, my students will make a problem. Yes. So anyway,
the answer doesn't surprise us, right?
I was going to continue about a few things that we also teach. We give them Islamic rulings because at this age, and then we give them gender-specific rulings. We separate the students. These students, they have always been in public schools. They don't get this kind of information anywhere else. So and then also, it's important for them to understand the correct Islamic knowledge, because like you know, nowadays they can go on social media, they can press a button on Google and you have all sorts of different information, and they can't tell which is the correct Islamic information from the non-correct. So this is us, and this is what we do. We try to keep them on the track of where to get the correct knowledge from and how to implement it. And you know, youthful age, it's either you make it for the rest of your life or you break it.
A lot of the time,
if you want to be boss, they have to pay the price, Mahdi, right? I mean,
right. No, you know, Hajjah Sabah brings up a very interesting point. A lot of the times, people in the community, doesn't even have to be youth, anybody, you know, any age group, they want answers. And they don't have a direct line to somebody who they could comfortably just shoot a message to and just ask them, you know, oh, I've seen so many different opinions in regards to this specific topic. I need some clarity. And I feel like both Hajjah Sabah and Brother Khodr have the same goal in mind in terms of how can we be more accessible and relatable to individuals. So instead of going and becoming confused with so much that they can find on the internet, they could directly just contact one of you and get the information, especially Hajjah Sabah, who you have a Islamic background, which can be very important because, you know, even if we take a look at it from their in the household, many times maybe parents don't have the right answers, or sometimes they, you know, give an answer just to show that, you know, that they don't know anything, and they end up, you know, misleading the children. So
yes, yeah. I've had parents that come and would talk about that. Definitely. And so I wanted to also mention that our like program is not only the weekly program. Like you said, We have a group together. We're always in contact. They can always ask, and we're always there for each other to help each other, you know, to get on the right track. It's the month of Ramadan right now. They had many questions. They keep asking, and it's good for the youth. Like you said, they need to connect for somebody that has knowledge about these stuff.
Said Khalil, I thought that the order of program is that our guests speak first and then question and answer. Looks like tonight the order is changed, or I'm getting lost, or what's going on?
No, we're not lost, Sheikh. We're not lost. This was, from the beginning, was meant to be a conversation, and a discussion, was not meant to be a lecture. So, and I think
I thought that in the previous night, the guests used to, you know, make a statement and like 10-15 minutes lecture, and then we start the question and answer. But looks like you were excited about our guest tonight.
No. That was what was requested of us to do. That was not my idea. So it's something you take it up with.
No, it's a great either ways. I mean, Hajjah Sabah, mashallah, she has a lot to offer, and you guys are awesome as well. And you know, so I think it went really good. I just want to, if you don't mind, just add a comment to Brother Mahdi's question about how we can be accessible and everything. I think our parents and our community members should ask for help when they need it. You know, it's not a shame to ask for help, and you know, even if their kids or their loved one or their neighbor, their cousin, their brother, their sister, you know, if they go through any issue, speak up. I think speaking up and working around the issue to resolve it is better than you know, overlooking it and then it becomes worse. So I just want to make sure that, you know, people realize that.
Absolutely. And you know, wanted to go to final thoughts with Hajjah Sabah.
So as Brother Khodr was mentioning, it is very important for them to come to those that can help if there is problems. And that's why at the Islamic House of Wisdom, we also offer counseling or coaching for those students that are being pressured by their peers with things that are harmful to them. And so we have that too. And like I said, they have my number, I befriend them. And that's what we should do with our youth, because to just be a teacher and be out there and give them what's halal and what's haram and go home and then you disconnect from them. They need you when they're in trouble or when they're in crisis. So we're always there for them, and we show them that they are like our children. Sure. That's how much we care for them. And I always tell my students that I don't have 3 children. You're all my children. And I care all of them.
Is there anything, Hajjah Sabah, I haven't asked you that you want to convey?
You know, these youth, they have so much energy and they can make such a big difference in the community. They just need to be directed. And like I mentioned, the hadith of Imam Sadiq, of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, they have so much good in their heart that we don't see it sometimes. We just feel like they're very rebellious because we're not approaching them the correct way. So when they're approached the correct way, you can't imagine, Alpha, how much good comes out of them. And you know, and you can't blame them, because like I said, it's always they're being pressured from their friends, the media, everything around them. But when you open for them the doors and you unfold the reality of happiness, or, you know, feeling good on the inside that outweighs all the money in the world and things like that, or just opening their eyes to just being there for someone, or helping someone, or teaching them, guiding them, coaching them. I've had a student that came and she was she had a very rough time with her mother or her siblings. And as we're going along and with this coaching, she's changed like 180 degree angle. Alhamdulillah.
God bless you.
Very kind-hearted. And then in their nature, the youth in their nature, they don't like bad things. Allah didn't create them to love. They're still pure, but they've been misguided. So when you open up their nature, they're true in it, how They don't like to lie. They don't like to, they like to do good. They like to do charity. They like to help others. Imagine when you tell a youth, and we've seen this at the House of Wisdom, when we ask them for help or for volunteer work, they like to be there. They like to help. They have so much energy, you know. Yeah. And also we show them that they care. They're important to us. So at the end of every time we sit or meet, okay, let's see what happened at your school and what are the problems you're facing. Let's talk about it. Let's see how Islam tells us how we should react to these things, or how we can, you know, I just wish, my only wish is that I wish more and more parents would be receptive to these kind of programs and put their youth. They keep saying the mosques don't do anything. What I see is the mosques are offering every type of program for every age, but we don't see a lot of people or parents that are interested or know the worth of these programs. All they do is when their child is in a crisis, they come and they start, you know, like crying to us that please help us.
So thank you.
Can't create a miracle.
Too little.
We appreciate your hard work. Go ahead, Mahdi. I'm sorry.
No, I just was agreeing with Hajjah Sabah. Just one more one last thought for brother Khodr. You know, one thing that really I feel that has driven you and drives a lot of people who come from the Middle East is because they understand the value of the opportunity that they're given when they come to America. And a lot of the times children who are born and raised here, they don't understand the value and the opportunity they have here in the United States. What is one of the ways that you would convey the value of being born and raised here, just having the opportunity to get an education to those individuals, to those youth who may not understand the value?
Sure. It's a great question, because obviously when you are living in such a comfortable environment, meaning no wars, they don't go through that suffering, there's not that social, you know, hardship, economic hardship, political struggle and conflicts, and, you know, everything in between. And you're not going to feel that you are forced to work hard. You're not going to feel that you have to earn it. Only in one case, that is if your parents told you, yes, we are blessed, we live here, peaceful, it's nice, prosperous, I have a good job, your mom had a good job, we can afford you whatever you want, but you have to earn it too. So I think that it starts from the house. It starts from a mentality that you have to earn it, that you have to work hard for it. I'm not saying that we should not help our kids. I certainly will not treat my kids or they won't be living in the same environment that I was born and raised with, because I'm sure that I'm going to have a better environment for them. But what I'm trying to tell you is I am not going to handle everything. They have to realize the value behind it. They have to know that you have to work hard for it. And that's number one. Number two, I believe just like, you know, you have to know the purpose behind your being on this earth. So I have a purpose that I love to achieve. I love to keep on working to achieve. And if you also have a purpose in life that you are aware of, I think you should not be sitting still doing nothing, just, you know, going left and right. And you have some guidance, you know, again, it goes back personally to my, you know, strong faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, I have a strong faith in God, and never been shook, and will never be. And, you know, even doctors, they ask me, because inshallah, there's going to be a treatment between now and 10 years. You know, these are the latest research, you know, findings that they're going to be a treatment. They ask me, you know, let's say if you, you know, if you get your eyesight, you know, I mean, what do you think? I told him one simple answer, and he's a huge professor from the state of California. I told him, if getting back my eyesight, if I become a sighted person and it's going to change me and make me a filthy person, I don't want it. That's, you know, I mean, simply, because now doesn't mean that we don't realize harm and evil. You know, as a matter of fact, Brother Mahdi, we as blind people, we don't get fooled by appearances and by looking at you, by the clothes that you put on, by the car that you drive. Actually, we go straight into your heart. Right. From the very first word that you say, I can tell you know, alhamdulillah, I have that intuition. You know, I'm not saying that every blind person has that. I'm just saying that, you know, that's a big blessing, is that we tap into people not because we need something from them. You know, you might have a Rolex on your wrist,
Right.
but I mean, I'm not going to see that. You know, so I'm not dealing with you. I'm not going to deal with you because, you know, I see that you have a Rolex or that you have a, you know, $100K car or whatever. So I think that this concept taught at home through religion, through hard work, and personally, I'm accessible, by the way. I mean, I love this kind of stuff. I speak at schools all over the place, all over the state of Michigan. I speak at conventions, at conferences. So I'm more than happy if you run to any case, any issue, if I can be of any assistance to the Islamic House of Wisdom, and Imam Elahi knows that too. I'm more than happy to chip in and to help every way, shape, and form.
Alhamdulillah, subhanAllah, it's just beautiful hearing you just bring out the advantages and the pros to difficulty, as opposed to, you know, focusing on the disadvantages and cons. You find the blessing in disguise. So God bless you, brother.
Thank you. Actually, if something, Brother Mahdi, one last thing, I'm not going to take a lot of your time, I promise. I know we politicians, we talk a lot.
No.
You know, if something...
Imam Elahi thinks we didn't give you a chance to talk.
No, it's good. I'm enjoying it.
No, I appreciate you, Imam Elahi. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, but this is very exciting, and I love, you know, such conversations, because our community needs to strip off the coat of shame when they have somebody with a disability, or somebody with mental health issue, or with somebody even, you know, who's on drugs, whatever, because these issues are going to kill us. These issues are going to limit us. You know, we have to step forward. We have to step up and be proud of it. Actually, what I wanted to say is directly linked to this. I always say, if I'm lucky, if I'm blessed, that's for one thing. That's because I was born blind. I don't want to, you know, again, with all the hardship that comes with it, you know, people now might say, man, this sounds crazy. But this is a fact. You know, again, I see God's greatness every single second of my life. You know, yeah, I see it with my eyes closed. I mean, it's a very, very, very special feeling that, you know, I can't really interpret in words, but I see God's greatness. Alhamdulillah, I'm not gonna, Yawm al-Qiyamah, I won't be, personally, that's what I'm trying to do, you know, in my lifetime. I'm trying to be a person who won't be asked why you did not do this, why you saved some efforts to do that or to accomplish this. I'm trying, despite everything, to achieve, not for my own, I promise, for humanity.
God bless you. You have, there are a lot of people who have eyes, but they cannot see. But then you have Basira, and you can see everything. So
thank you. God bless you, man. Thank you.
And I want to thank both of you, Brother Khodr, Haji Sabah, for being with us. You know, the wonderful thoughts from Mahdi. And I would like to ask Imam Elahi to close this session with a prayer, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Said Khalil. And again, thank you, Brother Khodr and Haji Sabah and Mahdi Elahi. God bless you. Before I say the dua, you mentioned the names in the beginning, but I like to ask us and also the audience. Alhamdulillah, we have a huge audience. This new technology of this year actually turned to be a blessing that we have a bigger audience now. To say Surah Al-Fatiha ala arwah amwat al-mutabarra'in, some of the brothers and sisters who have been donating to the house of God and supporting this food distribution, and people that are really in bad shape now because they lost their job, their income, and is a very suffering season for many people. And they are so happy to see that House of Wisdom is providing food, everything, every day, and whatever support that we can come up with, because really Ramadan is about understanding. Ramadan is about sympathy. Ramadan is about support. And I want to thank, I don't want to say the titles because I don't know everybody's titles, so I just say the name and family name: Jihad Safa, Isra Jum'ah, Diana Yunus, Hamza Makki, Jay Kabani, Fatima Karam Ali, Raraz Rezvi, Cherry Anisman. Let us recite Surah Al-Fatiha to please the souls of the deceased from the loved ones from these families. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmuddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. اللهم ارزقنا توفيق الطاعة وبعد المعصية وصدق النية وعرفان الحرمة وأكرمنا بالهدى والاستقامة وسدد ألسنتنا بالصواب والحكمة واملأ قلوبنا بالعلم والمعرفة وطهر بطوننا من الحرام والشبهة واكفف أيدينا عن الظلم والسرقة واغضض أبصارنا عن الفجور والخيانة واسدد أسماعنا عن اللغو والغيبة وتفضل على علمائنا بالزهد والنصيحة وعلى المتعلمين بالجهد والرغبة وعلى المستمعين بالاتباع والموعظة وعلى مرضى المسلمين بالشفاء والراحة وعلى موتاهم بالرأفة والرحمة وعلى مشايخنا بالوقار والسكينة وعلى الشباب بالإنابة والتوبة وعلى النساء بالحياء والعفة وعلى الأغنياء بالتواضع والسعة وعلى الفقراء بالصبر والقناعة وعلى الغزاة بالنصر والغلبة وعلى الأسراء بالخلاص والراحة وعلى الأمراء بالعدل والشفقة بفضلك ورحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد. Inshallah, we'll see everyone tomorrow. Good news, Bushra, that coming nights also we are blessed with great guests from our community leaders, community activists, and even leaders from the state will join us soon in the coming nights. So much to learn, so much to share, so much to observe, and inshallah it's going to be a very blessing, educational, spiritual, and inspiring Ramadan. So stay with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Just like to remind you that tomorrow's program is with Dr. Kamal Khalid, and we thank you for being with us. Good night.